Today we're going to talk about health, wealth, and relationship. Tisa and Grant. I'm glad, first of all, everybody that tuned in last week, you're going to be in for a
Yes.
great surprise because Tisa has been bombarding me with this subject. She is really animated about it. We're going to talk about mindset. And I'm just going to ask you a straight up question. Does mindset affect your life in a way that maybe you don't realize?
Absolutely. So the reason why I really wanted to talk about mindset is we're trying to move people to action and to really change their behaviors, right? And so when you think about behavior change, so my psychology degree is talking now. When you talk about behavior change, it all starts with your mindset. Like, what do you think about the change you need to make? Where are you now? And how do you get to where you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about mindset, we have to set an intention. So that's for any behavior changes that you want. And we're going to talk about a lot of different changes that we want to make. But basically, how do we get there?
Yes.
So
Yes.
starts with the mindset. What do you think about the change that you want to make?
Well, here's a statistic. I want to start out with some facts.
Okay.
It's not just our opinion.
Because mindset is everything,
facts.
right?
It is. It is. And you have to set precedent to understand where it is that we're going. So this is a stat. It came from Duke University, right?
Okay.
It says 95% of outcomes come from habits, not from conscious goals. So we're about to go into the new year. We're thinking about, hey, let's set some new goals. Let's have our New Year's resolution. But we have to really think about this because if your mindset doesn't change, your behavior
Right.
won't change.
So you can talk about all the goals you want, right? You can set a goal. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to lose weight. But if you don't set an intention, and let's talk about that word intention.
Mhm.
If you don't set an intention means you are planning to do it. You're thinking about how you're going to do it and really making that the focus, right? And so you got to set an intention. So when we talk about mindset, the first thing you need to do is set an intention. And so as we go into the new year, and even as we in the old year, we're talking about intention. So one of the first things you want to do when you're setting an intention is catching yourself where you are, meeting yourself where you are, right? And so as we're wrapping up an old year and going into a new year, let's do a self-evaluation on 2025, right? Everybody set probably a New Year's resolution in 2025, right? All you guys, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be more active. I'm going to eat better. And I guess the question is, how'd you do? did you meet your goals? Did you? How long did you get in that gym before you faded out? And so let's recap 2025. First of all, before you set your intentions for 2026, see how you did. Meet yourself where you are.
What you said is that because now you have a body of work.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 2025. We're in December. You can rewind that clock. What were you thinking about, January, let's call it Q1, January through March. Then what really happened, from April through into the summer, then the summer and the fall. And here we are, we're in winter. And it goes quicker than people realize. And I hate to throw all these stats out, but this is a stat. It just floored me. It says only 8% of people achieve their stated goals. 8%. So
that's not a lot, y'all. 8%. That's basically most of us fail. 8% is like saying a little bit of y'all reach your goal, right?
Because we know, if you go back to the first stat I said, if 95% of the things you're doing are just habitual, statistically, your subconscious mind, and you've been doing it for a decade or more, the smart money is going to be in the probability that you're going to go back to that same behavior at some point in time. You might have, like you said, you might have want, hey, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to do this and do that, but you're only going to do that for like 10, 20 days. Nobody's looking, and then you slip back into that mode. Now, I have to look at my own track record. This year was a great year of change. It was a pivotal moment for me. I intentionally said I need to make a conscious decision to make a major change in my life. I'm an empty nester. Kids are gone, right? And I'm in a house by myself. And there's plenty of bedrooms, plenty of space, but it's just me. So it became self-evident to me that what do I want to do for the rest of my life? I already raised kids. The whole point of the house for me was raise kids, have a home, get them ready, get them through school, get them into adulthood, and then they're great. Also, you turn around, it's been 30 years, right? And then it's like, what do I want to do now? And I had to do some soul searching around that. And initially, I wasn't saying, hey, I'm going back to Omaha. First, I thought about, I'm going to do something. It wasn't always Omaha. But then it started to become clearer and clearer. But I did have that intention to make a pivotal change in my life in 2025. And I did so. So I'm part of that 8%er, right?
I don't know if he set an intention. I think he made up his mind, and that's different. So making up your mind to do something and setting an intention at the beginning of the year, saying, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to change, and these are the steps I'm taking to get to it. Now, you're talking about, I think, more like seasonal changes. Like we all go through seasons, and I think because we're in our 60s, we're in the fourth quarter, as we were talked about in the past. I think people, you go through quarters. So your first quarter, it's about, when you first going through high school and you're getting out of school, it's about your career. It's about yourself. It's about getting out your parents' house. It's about establishing yourself as an adult. That's your first phase of your life. That's your baby adulthood. Then you move into what for women would be the baby making phases, getting married, starting a family. And that's the second phase that some of us cut off like at 30. Yeah. So you got that 25 to 30 range. So, I mean, I was all into it, married 10 years, had my kids, same thing. My two boys, had them by 30. So that was a goal reached. But then it starts changing, into more career goals, right? Yeah. So then it's about how much money can I make? What's the best job I can get? You relocate for jobs, you relocate for more money. So that kind of things will move you around and get you changing your priorities. And then you get kind of the 40s and 50s, and then you get to the fourth quarter. Third quarter is all about finding out who you are. Yeah. And what I want to add to that is during these years, your 30s and 40s, find out your purpose. I think we waste a lot of time chasing that career goal, but really when it gets down to it and you get our age, it's really about quality of life. We got more years behind than forward. So I want, if I can go back and talk to my younger self, I would say, when you're young enough, find out what your passion and what your purpose is for this being on this earth. I think the quicker you find that out, the easier your adult life goes, right? Because we waste a lot of time chasing the wrong things, and then you'll be like, damn. Or you get it, or you get that money, or you get that job, and it's not fulfilling. The things that fulfill you in life is your purpose and your passion. So if I can give any advice to younger people, I would say seek those things out earlier in life.
I agree with you 100%. I'm Mr. Stat Guy today. And I'm telling you, this third stat was just another flurry thing. So it says 80%, because we're talking about health, wealth, and relationships. Right? We already talked about mindset a little bit and making pivotal changes and being intentional about it and understanding that you really got to get deep. But 80% of health outcomes are driven by lifestyle, not medical care.
Well, imagine that. And so it's all about the lifestyle, right? And when we talk about changes, it's usually about a lifestyle change. Yeah. Right. So everything is about how you live your life. When people are talking about making changes, it's really about how you're currently living your life. So when you're talking about that assessment, we're talking about looking back on 2025 before you move into 2026. You are. Before you start setting those goals and setting those on intention, do that review, do that self-assessment, and really say, where am I at health, wealth, and relationship wise, right? Yes, so you start with the health. Yes. Where am I at with my health? Are you healthy? What does that mean? Are you on medication? Are you taking medication for any conditions? So do you have high blood pressure? Are you pre-diabetic? Are you diabetic? Are you hypertensive? Are you stroke? Do you have strokes in your family? Are you a bad heart? Where are you health-wise? So take and make honest notes. Yes, I'm hypertensive. Well, last time I went to the doctor, they told me I was pre-diabetic. Last time I went to the doctor, and I don't want people to not go to the doctor, because that's the only reason and way we find out exactly our status in terms of health, right? So don't be scared to get these statistics on your health, because you need to know where you are. You need to meet yourself where you are. Because if you start putting up goals that your body can't even handle, you're setting yourself up to fail again. So people start out real strong going to the gym, but if you never went to the gym, don't make a goal to go to the gym every day, because that's not even in your nature. Obviously, if you haven't been going to the gym every day, that is a hard behavior to start, right? And that's why people fail, because most people's like, what's the number one goal that everybody makes every year?
I'm losing weight.
I'm losing weight. I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. I'm gonna lose 40 pounds. And I think where people fail is they set a goal instead of an intention, right? Because when you set intentions, you think about how can I get there. When you set a goal, you just kind of throw the ball out there and you run towards it. You may or may not make it, but when you set an intention is moment to moment.
Yeah.
It's day to day, and it's small baby steps towards your goal. And so I want to encourage people to set an intention, not a resolution.
Yes.
Set an intention for the new year, and then make baby steps towards that goal.
100%. And do your research around it too. What is that intention about? Understand what you're getting yourself into. What's going to be the time commitment? If there's a time commitment, is there a monetary commitment? Make sure there's a monetary commitment to it. And then say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I have set aside a budget for this. I've set aside that time to do this. And I want to see what the results will be. And I bring this up because I want to do Tai Chi.
We're going to do Tai Chi.
We're going to do Tai Chi. I brought it up. She went, oh, she just chimed right in. And because, you know what, at our age, to your point, like, you know what, working out, running, certain things really don't fit the mold that you're in.
Well, let's just keep it real. At 62, joints are factors, hips and knees, hips, arm, everything.
It don't work the way it did.
It don't work the way it used to. And I want y'all to know, you ain't there, you're going to be there. And that's just natural progression of our bodies. Yeah. Our bodies get older, joint pains become more common.
Sure.
It's funny kind of how your conversations change as you get older. You start talking about what's ailing you and what you use and what that kind of thing. Yeah. But y'all get there when you get in your 60s and you retire like I am. And so those conversations change. But as much as you can set an intention and, like you said, do your homework, but meet yourself where you are. I think people are just so unrealistic about, first of all, your current condition. So if you are, make that checklist of those things that you are, and first address those things. Because I think if you just ignore where you are, ignore those things that are currently going on with you, it's going to be hard to set a new goal. It's going to be hard to move towards a new goal because you're this way for a reason. Yeah. So that means some habits got to change. And so baby steps.
Oh, we're changing some habits. I want to hit you straight. This is, no, our conversation, we started this out and said, we're not going to pull any punches. We want you to be able to tune into this show to get what I call real talk. What's real talk here? What are you talking about, Grant? What are you talking about? I want you to know this. 90%, I'm the stat guy today, right? 90% of chronic illness costs are preventable with mindset and behavioral changes. That means we can impact our health outcomes. If we are intentional about it, we need to understand it. You got to look at your sugar. How much sugar are you putting in your diet? Are you measuring it? Are you really, how much salt are you truly putting in your body? These are the things that are causing chronic, and I'll defer to you because you deal with this so every day. You see the outcomes of this. What do you think about that?
In terms of you are what you eat? You are what you eat. I think that's the most simplest statement in terms of what do you put in your body. And there should be a stat on like what moves the needle. Is it nutrition? Because I know for a fact it's really what you eat moves the needle more towards a better health outcome than what you do, like going to the gym and moving. I personally just walk, right? I'm an old athlete, but right now at 62, all I'm doing right now is walking. Yeah. I'm going to get into my Tai Chi and I'm going to get back into golfing and some other things that keeping me active. But the bottom line is, you got to meet yourself where you are, set that intention, and then move forward.
One thing
what you can
do. Not only do you walk, you eat right.
I eat right.
I mean, you're intentional about it. Like you actually look at the label, like, is this fit within my scope of what I need to do?
It's a good choice. It's all about choices.
Yeah.
When it comes to eating, it is all about choices. Like you can choose this or you can choose that. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that. And it's really about the choices, right? So right. I do a lot of things on our Pink Lotus page. It's just you can go hamburgers and fast foods, or you can go home and cook a nutritious meal, making sure you have some leafy greens involved. It's a choice. We kind of move forward with baby steps. Some of those baby steps can just be looking at what you eat. Some of those baby steps can be portion control. Some of those baby steps can be making sure you have something green and colorful on your plate every time you fix a plate? Every time you go out to eat, is it all brown, which means everything's fried, right? If you looking at a plate, but you're looking at fried chicken, French fries, and fried something. If that whole plate is brown all the time, you're missing out on something. What you need is that vegetables. You need some leafy greens. Those are the things that balance your body. If you're just brown all the time, your body is probably telling you. Yep. Your body, excuse me, will give you all kind of indications if you're on the right path, yep. Right? So usually overweight people, I can tell you, I'm intentional about my food, but the biggest kick I get out is going to the grocery store and really solidifying my goal, my saying that you are what you eat.
Yeah.
So right, just be a store watcher one time. Go in there, just watch people, look at their bodies, and then look in their cart. It's a direct correlation, people, right? So I go to the grocery store, I'm looking and I'm on the aisles, I'm getting my fruits and my vegetables, and I go in the middle, but start on the outside because those are the fruits and vegetables, the fresh things. So that's kind of a marketing thing. Don't go straight toward the frozen foods, which are in the middle. Start on those aisles, those outer aisles first, and move inward. That's intentional. So start there. But I just want people to just be really transparent about where you are, how you shop. It starts with, so that intentionality also starts with what you buy at the store. So if you're going to eat better, you have to shop better. Right. So you got to kind of get out of that habit of buying the same thing. And I'm guilty too. Like I go to the store and you just get in the habit of buying the same thing.
Sure.
You go get that chicken, you go get that beef, you go get that. So intentionality is, if those things are not serving you well, let's start thinking of somewhere different, how to fix it, maybe how to prepare it, maybe not fry it, but also maybe just something else. So think about food prep ahead of time. Before you go to the store, instead of getting in that same mode and going down the same aisles, getting that same stuff, think about it beforehand. Let's try this recipe, or let's try a no meat Monday. That means don't go get no meat.
No meat Monday.
So if you're in the house and you ain't got no meat in the house, you can't fix no meat. What are you going to eat?
And hopefully make a better nutritional choice. I remember even years ago, I knew this, that it's around enzymes. I'm talking about health, right? It's health and it's health care. Remember, hospitals are about health care. They're trying to fix you, but health is about taking care of yourself every day. Hospitals are not in the business of making you healthy, more or less.
And it's not really even health care.
No.
We should call it something else.
Health crisis management.
Health repair.
Health repair,
right? Because they're not giving you care.
No,
right?
No, they're patching you up. They're fixing you to get you back on the road.
Writing you a prescription.
But you have to be intentional, to your point, and think about what it is that you really are doing to create. You could be creating these problems. We know this, and these are facts, right? So enzymes are what actually help the body to be healthier all the way around, especially around your immune system. Enzymes come from living things. So the quicker, or if you grew, let's say you used to have gardens back in the day, anything that grows fresh and you consume it into your body has a lot of enzyme to it. The more preparation it goes through, the less enzymes or less healthy really outcome that will be. So to your point, when you see something brown, that means it's dead. It's dead. It's not, you killed it, but it has no nutritional value. That is the key, right? So you're not putting, that's why sometimes you eat and you're tired. When you eat, you should be energized. So what kind of food are you consuming that's energizing you? You should be like, all right, man, I'm ready to do something, because you're energizing yourself. So if you're feeling the opposite, that is a good sign to truly look at what it is that you're consuming that's not good for you, and try to find those foods that are going to really put you on the other side of the ball.
That's right. Do your homework on fruits and vegetables. They do give you energy. They do give you the things that you need in terms of vitamins and things like that makes your body work at an optimal thing, an optimal space. Instead of, and if you really think about it, when you go to a fast food restaurant, if you think about how you feel like 2 hours later, some people get sick. I literally get sick anymore because I haven't done fast food in so long. So if I do stop at a McDonald's or get a burger or just have a crazy whim and stop somewhere and get some fast food, I guarantee you hours later, if not the next day, my stomach is like, what the hell? Because first of all, it's not used to it, but it's actually putting some chemicals and some stuff in my body that's not making it feel good. It's not doing my body good. right? So I stopped doing fast food. My son will tell you he hates it. But if you can't sit down, then we ain't going in.
100%.
If you can't sit down, then don't. No.
No, but you made it a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
And you created time for yourself. A lot of times people say, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit down and have a meal. We got to understand the outcome that you're building yourself up to. So if you're just driving through going through the drive-through because you can get something quick, but you understand you're not really filling up on anything that's truly nutritious for you. That could be a stopgap, get something small, get something quick, but you have to understand long-term, over time, it's going to have a problem. Now, this other stat, and I love this stat because it goes into what we're talking about, mindset, right? Growth mindset. People with a growth mindset improve their outcomes by 30 to 50% more than fixed mindset individuals.
Growth.
Let that set in.
Yep. Growth.
Right?
A growth mindset.
Growth and fixed. Status quo. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. And guess what? You get the same result. If you do not want the same result, you don't want to go back, look at 2024 and you're at 2025 and you haven't seen any measurable change, you have a mindset. And if you want to have change, then you know what? I've got to start thinking differently, feeling differently about myself and my surroundings. And then you start doing things differently.
Yeah, if you have a fixed mindset, I'd say you probably are not growing. People got to realize you're growing until you die. And if you're not growing, then you're dying, right? So growth is ongoing. I'm still learning at 62, all kind of stuff. I'm still learning how to be the best person I can be, how to be the healthiest person I can be, and how I can impact my community. I'm at a point where I'm trying to impact my community, and how can I do that? So starting Pink Lotus for being a breast cancer survivor is just one of the things, but I've always been involved in my community and trying to make it a better community. And so that's something that I don't know if it's a passion that I found a long time ago, but I come from parents who were very community connected, making a difference. I have so many testimonies from my friends about the impact that my parents made in their lives. And so I'm come from that type of stock. And that's something I want people to also do. Leave a legacy of good health and service to your community. I got that from my parents. And so if you are a person that serves or that feel a need to serve, teach that to your kids. We do really need to somehow connect our kids back to the community, teach them to volunteer, teach them to go help an old person. When we were youth in the church, we had to, this time of year, we'd be caroling at the old folks' homes, right? We got to our youth group, we would go caroling at the old folks' homes. But we did that stuff from when I was a kid to out of high school. So, but that's involved in the church, that's involved in the youth group. And so get your kids involved. If they're not in a church, a youth group, something that's involved in doing something for their community, that connects them to their community. And that just, when they get our age, they can be the change makers. They can be making the difference in their community. Yeah. So
on those same lines as mindset, talking about mindset, you cannot talk about mindset, I don't believe, especially in this time of year. People get depressed. There's depression because the relationships they used to have.
The relationships.
Christmas doesn't mean the same anymore. People are gone, kids have grown up, but it can lead to depression, loneliness, and you had a fatalistic type attitude. This type of mindset will go to you're not eating well, so it can lead to obesity. You start, you're smoking cigarettes and things like that. You're consuming way too much alcohol and other things, but they all stem top up. If you talk to a psychologist or people that are in the mental health world or drug abuse world, they'll tell you a lot of that stems from depression. You and you're the first person probably ever that I've heard say this. But you talk about self-love, and you have a self-love day or self-care day that you do. Talk about that.
Well, let me connect that to when you were saying depression and seasonal woes, I want to call them. So for even personally, like both of my parents passed around Thanksgiving. And so this time of year is hard for our family. And so as you get away from the grief, first of all, I would encourage everybody to get grief counseling. Know the stages of grief. Know that it's no right time to grieve. My parents have been gone 5, 6, and 8 years now. And there's going to be moments. And so it's better now. And so I would never say I went into a depression, but some people do. Some people cannot get along without that other person in their lives. I would say seek grief counseling, seek any kind of therapy for depression. If you're getting to a point where the depression is making you not get out the bed, not function, it's a heavy burden where you're starting to feel like self-harm or a disconnect to the world, get some help. I would say seek some help for that. If you see somebody in that state of mind, encourage them to get help, to talk to somebody. It really helps to talk about grief, to really reminisce about that person, but just people to understand the cycles. You're going to have times where you're going to cry for absolutely no reason. And that's just part of the grief cycle. Things will trigger you. And so I would say seek help during this time. If you are feel like you're in that state of mind, or if you are really low and not feeling joy during this season, seek some help for that. Definitely get grief counseling if people have passed and you are still very much in that dark piece of grieving. Seek help for that.
100%. I also want to encourage the audience to go to the Pink Lotus Project Nebraska's website. There are resources there from a lot of different community organizations that can help. I want to encourage people to do that, because our goal is to really educate and to have real conversations around things. We see these things, and that what I don't want us to do is become complacent around it. You know, I'm already in a season. You've already know someone that's passed. I know someone passed. I don't know all the reasons and things, but we're in that state of mind. I want everybody to be as healthy as possible. When it comes to health, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to relationships, these are things that make you want to get up in the morning. You want to do things that are positive in nature, and you should be at our point starting to give back. Like, you know what? We always talk about this. These are things we used to do in the 80s. This is stuff we did in the, you know, but it's different now. But some things are the same. But you can learn from these things. And as you get down that road around healthcare, when you can't change all that. You got 2-3 decades of a certain lifestyle. Like, wow, but you can start doing things day by day if you take. I know one thing I'm telling. She didn't go into it, but I'm telling. She does this every week. She has a self-care day. She takes care of Tisha.
Well, yes, we do, and me and my girlfriend Tony Antoinette White. From high school, and it's also in my support group. We do a self-care Sunday or Saturday, and depending on what it is, you have to, especially if you are a leader of an organization, you're CEO or founder like I am, or if you just do a lot of service and volunteering, you're pouring out to people. You're giving, and it's real important to balance that with pouring back into yourself, taking care of yourself, filling back up, because those of us who pour out sometimes don't fill back up, and that can get us in a state of mind. So we need to fill back up so we can continue to pour out. So that's what we do.
So we're going to conclude our show for today. I want to encourage everyone to continue watching our show. Come back week after week. If you have comments, if you have anything you want to share with us, please put it in our comments in our YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, or send us an email. Send us an email as well and talk to us.
Yeah.
How would you like to conclude?
So I want to always leave a takeaway, right? And so as we talk about mindsets, just instead of setting a goal, let's just set intentions, right? We're going to go back to that word intention. Start making small intentions towards better. And just let's not look for best. Let's make everyday small intentions towards better, whether that be walking farther from the parking lot. We want to give you just some tangible things. So when you're talking about moving more, let's just make it baby steps. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park in the back of the parking lot with your keys handy just in case somebody's up on you. Doing Tai Chi, doing yoga, doing those things that'll be good for your body, that'll give you energy. Tai Chi is about balance, and as you guys know, if you have parents, and if they've lived to a ripe old age, balance is a big deal when you get our age. And I didn't never realize it, and I'm still trying to figure out what happens to our balance as we get older, but you lose it. And so and we're gonna make a joke of all the things that old people do.
Yeah.
And again, because
Yeah.
I want to get y'all ready.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to laugh at it because it's natural.
True.
These are natural things
Yeah.
that happen. But balance does go as you get older. So we were talking about Tai Chi because we want to be balanced. We want to
Sure.
be,
Yeah.
moving in a graceful way and probably eliminate some of the falling and just get that balance together as we get older.
Because you get the blood flow.
And we're
you get some
practicing.
breath
We're
work.
practicing
Get
balance.
some flow. So I'm looking for, you're going to see me like Brett looking different in 2026. All right.
He don't know
weekly.
nothing about that Tai Chi.
Not yet. I will. Believe me. Thanks again for tuning in.
Leave your
Appreciate
comments.
you.
We appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
Imagine waking up with more energy, a peaceful mind, and relationships that grow stronger every day. That is the vision Tisa Harden and Grant McGaw want to help you achieve, and it all starts with simple, practical steps you can take this week. On health, wealth, and relationships, every episode brings you real stories and trusted experts. Tisa and Grant focus on 3 tactical steps each week. Small, doable moves that protect your health, grow your savings, and bring you closer to the people you love. No complicated rules, just real progress. Try a clinic-to-kitchen swap to boost your energy. Start a money buffer habit that quietly builds your financial confidence. That helps you reconnect with your partner. These quick wins are not chores. They are steps toward a better life. People who try just one intentional step report more energy, less money stress, and evenings full of laughter again. Join Tisa and Grant. Start small, live bigger. Tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and subscribe now.